Hey guys, Keith Eneix here, Hardscape Marketing Crew, and I've got a little presentation for you. I want to talk about building a high profit marketing funnel and mapping the customer journey for hardscapers with you so you can understand exactly what system you need to have in place to create a predictable revenue generating system in your hardscape business. Okay. All right, so first off, let's talk about setting the stage. Most hardscapers don't have a marketing problem. They have a funnel problem. They're thinking about their marketing in the wrong way. So would you build a patio with no base? I like using this as an illustration. If you build a retaining wall or you build a patio, you want to make sure your foundation's good. If it's not, it might look good at first, but a year down the road, it's going to be all messed up and you're going to have to redo the job again. Can't tell you how many jobs we have had to redo for the rock retaining wall jobs that we do for our clients, our hardscape clients. Where the wall wasn't built correctly, the natural stone retaining wall wasn't built correctly, and then they call us up and say, oh no, our wall's falling down, and then we have to go in and fix it for them, and they end up paying double or more than that than what they were originally going to spend. So that's definitely not what we want to do with marketing. If we build the foundation correct, we're going to pay less per lead down the road and ultimately be able to take more market share in our area and beat out competitors who are trying to go after the same type of customers. So what's a marketing funnel? A funnel is a system that moves strangers into book jobs. And there's 4 core stages that I want to talk about. You have top of funnel, and then you have middle of funnel, and then you have the bottom of the funnel, and then you have the last phase, which is the delight phase, which is outside of your funnel. And I'll show you how that looks. So this is what a typical funnel looks like. It's upside down, and at the top you have TOF, top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. That can also just simply mean awareness, people who become problem aware, and then people who want to consider a solution, and then they finally make a decision at the very bottom. So the question is, a lot of hardscapers can't get jobs and they're trying to figure out, how do I get more jobs for my business? Well, the real problem that they're running into is they feel like they're getting inconsistent or poor quality leads. Maybe they tried Facebook leads, or maybe they tried Google ads and it just didn't work out. Or maybe somebody is doing SEO for them and it's just nothing's happening. Maybe the leads are ghosting or they're going cold. They have no follow-up system in place to close the sale. And the feeling is just, we need more jobs. But do you have the funnel to scale that jobs? If you have the funnel, not only can you get more job opportunities from other channels, but you also can get more referrals. And by properly putting the delight phase in place, you can get potentially 2 to 3 more jobs per completed job by closing the loop, or basically putting a referral and a review campaign in place for your business. We'll talk about that. All right, so let's talk about quality versus quantity. Quality is the type of marketing you do that's pretty. So maybe that's nice videos, nice pictures, a nice website. Those things are important, but quantity is driving quality leads, qualified leads. So there's an approach to marketing where you're trying to improve the qualitativeness of how you look. That could be called branding. But then quantity is going right after the thing you really want, which is jobs. All right. And so here's the problem. Most agencies, they come in and they like to talk about building nice, pretty things for your business. And you're sitting there thinking, hey, this is a great deal. We're going to go ahead and build a great website, or, we're going to do some nice social media together. But then there's the delivery team on the back end who's going to get this. And basically what happens is you as an owner go through this, what I call delivery hell, where you're waiting forever and ever for the deliverables, but nothing happens. And at the end of the day, this is how you feel. We all want the money. We all want to get to the true jobs. And so we want to make sure that you understand exactly how to get to a balanced place where you're balancing qualitativeness and quantitativeness, and you're going after the thing that's going to get you the most amount of jobs to start. So here's what I call the bottom of funnel first approach. When we're looking at that funnel, instead of starting up top and doing brand awareness stuff, and just basically lighting money on fire. We like to start with direct marketing, direct response marketing, and that's at the bottom of the funnel. As you figure that out, figure out exactly what that bottom of the funnel buyer really wants, then you can start opening up to other marketing channels and other awareness and branding efforts that are going to just fill that funnel with more opportunities. The key is that that bottom of the funnel is just converting, and then you can spend more money on other items beyond that. Okay, so that's how we want to come at marketing. We want to come at marketing with a direct response approach first. Okay, so let's talk about the customer journey. What does a customer do who's in the hardscape niche? Well, first, they might walk into their backyard and say, my backyard has a big slope to it, so I need a wall. Or maybe they're thinking, you know, maybe that patio would be nice. I wonder what kind of patio I should do. Should I do concrete? Should I do just a wood patio, or a deck? You know, or what should I do? And so they're researching and they're finding visuals that they like. And usually the keyword they're thinking of, if they're thinking of hardscape space, is pavers, concrete pavers, pavers of some sort. We find that to be the most important keyword that they're searching. So then they visit your site or your social pages. Maybe they find you on Google. They see your reviews. Maybe they visit your site and then they fill out a form. They give you a call. And then they wait for you to respond, or not, because maybe you have some follow-up process improvements you could do. And then they get a quote, maybe from you, from a few others. They compare it and then they make a choice. So that's kind of a basic customer journey. Well, let's talk about top of the funnel, the objective in top of the funnel. Well, the first goal is we want to be seen and trusted. 87% of home shoppers are looking on Google to figure out what competitor they should go with, why they should go with you. What does your reviews look like? What do your jobs look like? So you want to make sure and build trust on Google. That's the key. Google, Facebook, and Instagram. I mentioned those because people are on Facebook. They are looking for options. People are doing referrals in local groups in Facebook. Also, they can see your reviews on your Facebook business page, which ranks really well in Google too. So make sure that you have your before and after photos filled out on your Google business listing. Make sure you're also addressing the homeowner pain points that they want. That they want you to solve. Put up short tips on videos that could go on your website, that can go on YouTube, that can go on your Google business profile. And then of course, reviews and story-based posts are also very effective. Okay, so what does it look like to be seen? And here I got a couple examples for you. This is a really good example of 3 businesses that are looking pretty good in a local area. They are ranking really well for the keyword Lake Stevens landscaping. So Robles right at the top there, they have 37 reviews, 5-star rating. That looks awesome. Nature's Way has 14, and Spartan and Gonze have 31. Interestingly, in this picture, if we were to look at the click-through rates on this, likely Robles gets most of it. And actually, Spartan probably gets the next because they're the next closest in review and rating on review. Nature's Way probably gets the least amount, but still good to be in the 3-pack or the top 3 map pack listing. And so Nature's Way is doing a pretty good job, just needs to increase the amount of reviews that he's got. Here's not so good of a view. Here's a landscaper in the same area, and they have 3 Google reviews with a 3.7 star rating. People just aren't going to be clicking that. First, Google doesn't rank this type of a listing. It rarely does, and because it bases its ranking factor off of how many reviews you have. It's a big ranking factor. And also, people aren't going to click through on this. They are going to see this and they're going to click on the other ones, which is also a big ranking factor with Google. So definitely want to fix that. Another really bad one is if you have your local listing out there, but somehow somebody temporarily closed it. So you might have a Google business listing, but unfortunately it's closed. Nobody's going to be looking at it. So that definitely is a problem that needs to be fixed. Here's a guy here that's been in business for almost 30 years and he didn't even realize his listing was closed. So that could be happening with you. Make sure and look at your Google business profile, that you fix those reviews and also you fix your listing. Middle of funnel, it's all about education and qualification. The objective is to build desire and filter out tire kickers. So here's some tactics. Showcase your process. Everybody says, I've got a process. but do you have a unique process? Do you sound different than your competitors? The most classic thing that I hear from hardscapers is their process is something to the effect of, we design, we construct, and then we maintain. Okay, that's great, but that's what everybody else says. Now, I will say most hardscapers don't even have a process. So if that's what you use for your basic process, you're probably ahead of your competitors in your local area. But have a process, make it sound unique. Have some details around that really captures your target market and makes you seem like the best choice, because you actually have a unique sounding process that's going to give them a better experience. You can share some of your project price ranges. You can use a project estimator or a quiz to help qualify. Offer a quote request with built-in filters. And here's some of the things that I would recommend. On your website, you can just build a filter right into your form and stop wasting time on unqualified leads. You can ask budget, timeline, what is the type of project, and are they the decision maker on this, or is it somebody else that you should be talking to? Okay. All right, let's go to bottom of the funnel. What is that? That's all about conversion. We got to convert this thing. Got to close the job. All right, so here's some tactics. Strong follow-up sequence, text, email, call. You might not have a CRM in place. If you have a lot of leads coming in, you definitely need a CRM so that you can automate some of this stuff. Project walkthrough videos, also another great way for you to connect with your target market, close a job, and give them the confidence they're looking for to work with you. Use social proof, testimonials, reviews, after photos of jobs. You can also build scarcity. And guys, I recommend not being dishonest on this. Like, be totally honest. In our niche, we all have a scarcity thing where we're trying to book out jobs weeks in advance. So you have this real thing in your business built right in every single year. And you should use it. You should say, hey, look, I've got 3 slots next week, or 2 weeks up. We're 8 weeks booked out right now. So we're telling customers, hey, if you want to book, put 50% down now, 50% down when we can do your job. If an opening comes up because somebody cancels, we'll fit you in, but we're 8 weeks out. Make sure and use scarcity, because that's going to help people understand that you're in high demand. And if they want to book you, then they need to put some money down, which helps with your cash flow and everything, and helps you with your close rates. So here's the thing, though. This is how most customers feel. And we need to build confidence with them. So this is why it's so important we're building this stuff in the funnel. To convert the job, people work with people they know, like, and trust. So to close the job, you need to score at least an 8 out of 10 on, do they trust you? Do they trust your company? And do they trust your service? If you score an 8 out of 10 on those, then you're probably going to close the deal. All right. And once you close the deal, then you enter what's called the delight phase. Now we're outside of the funnel, actually. And now we're delighting the customer. Don't let happy clients go away quiet. Utilize that situation to help your business get to that next level of reviews on your Google business profile. Also, this is the beginning of potential new funnel entries, because not only can you ask for the review, but you can also ask them for the referral. And of course, you can use automation for both of these. You want to capitalize on that customer's delight and see if they have 2 to 3 other potential leads, and let them know that you have a gift card or a discount, or maybe some service add-ons for them that you can do if they refer somebody over to you. Especially for you guys who have maintenance contracts, this is definitely something you should be using, and letting your customers know, because it just helps keep that top of mind for them. But for all install jobs, definitely at the end, when they're most delighted, ask them. And obviously, this is part even of you going around in your neighborhood and connecting with the neighbors. It's basic sales. Ask the person, the homeowner that you're working for, hey, do you have a neighbor that maybe would be interested in something? And go to the neighbor and say, hey, your neighbor just referred and said you might need some work. Now you are utilizing that connection with the neighbor as a triangulation to help you with potentially getting in and doing more work. So definitely utilize that in the neighborhoods you're working in, and get some more leads and delight your customers. All right, so I want to look at this as a full funnel view. We looked at kind of that top down triangle, and and we looked at the awareness stage, the consideration, the decision stage. But really the funnel is better viewed as a flywheel that when done correctly just continues to generate more and more and more opportunities for you all the time so that your pipeline always stays full. So here's the full funnel view. We start at the top with awareness, but between awareness, you need to be seen. So the simplest thing that you can do to be seen is build your Google business profile. You need to build trust. That means you need to get reviews. So make sure that you reach out to past customers if you don't have a Google business profile and start getting them to put reviews on there. There's a little link you can find in your Google business profile that you just send over to them. They'll click on it and it immediately goes to your profile, pops open the give review section, and then they can just leave a review. Very simple. Okay. Consideration stage. You want to build desire. What are some things we can do there? Make sure that you have your jobs up in your Google business profile listing all of at least the after of those jobs. You don't need to have the befores. Actually, people are mostly interested in the after pictures. And then for sure on your website, have a gallery up there. The second thing people usually do when they land on your website, they're going to look at your website and they're going to go right over to that gallery. So make sure that is very easy to see those pictures, easy to see that gallery link, and people are interacting with that with the pictures that are your after pictures. Okay, so the next thing is qualify, because they're going to want to convert. So how do they convert? Well, they can give you a call, you're going to ask them some qualification questions, or they can fill out that form. And why not just have those qualification questions right on that form? So put those in there, and that'll qualify them and get them to a place of decision. And then finally, close the job. Call them up, get them in, do that estimate, build that rapport in those three areas. People like to work with people they know, like, and trust. So make sure they trust you, your business, and also the service that you provide. And everything, can you see now, everything that's been happening before this builds into this close the job. So if they've seen you on your Google business profile, remember 87% are interacting with Google before you even show up to give your estimate on that job. You're building trust. They've seen all the reviews. They've interacted with your website. They know they like your work. All right. So all of that qualification has been done before you even see them on the job. Now your close rate just goes way up because of that. All right. Now you're going to close that job, get that $10,000 to $15,000 paver job, or maybe that $50,000 driveway, or that retaining wall job. Or that outdoor living transformation job. So you're gonna delight them all along the way, and then when it's done, you're not gonna just walk away. You're gonna ask them for the review. You got to get that review. When you get that review on your listing, that's gonna increase your SEO. That's gonna increase people who are looking for the same type of work, what other people's experiences were, especially if you can get those photos on there. Get your customers to put photos on those reviews. Very, very effective. And then finally, get the referral and follow up with them. You can ask them once, but keep on following up with them. We have a review campaign that we put in place for ourselves and our clients, where we automatically just follow up, and we do ask them, hey, did you have a good experience or a bad experience? If they had a bad experience, we don't ask them to go put a review. We ask them to fill out a form and give us that feedback. Okay, so then we don't have bad reviews all on our listings, and we're addressing those problems with that customer. Okay. We have a referral campaign in place as well. We put them in there, and it reaches out periodically and asks them for the referral. So very important to have in place. All right. So you can see how the flywheel works in your business. You're qualifying people all the way through, getting them to make a decision, increasing your close rates, getting those referrals. And of course, we know referrals always close at a higher rate. You just keep on going through that cycle every time you get more work. All right, so I want to show you a case study from one of our clients, Crosscut Lawn and Landscape. We started working with him, and he had actually really good systems in place for a lot of his flywheel. He had a review campaign in place. He reached out to the customers. He definitely had beautiful pictures and a gallery and a nice looking website. So there were a lot of things that were in place in his flywheel already. All we had to do then was put in the lead generation system and pump leads into that flywheel. And what happened? Well, he spent about $1,500 in a month's time, and we were able to drive about 115 leads to his business. In fact, it increased way more than 115. We're over 200 leads right now in the last 30 days to Crosscut. Last week, he just closed a $70,000 job from our leads that we're sending over to him. So he's scheduled about 210,000 jobs of opportunities altogether in the first 30 days, and now even beyond has closed even more. So super exciting results. You can go ahead and look at that case study on our website and watch the video and learn more about that. So let's go ahead and pause just for a second. I want you guys to think about scoring yourselves. So let's rate yourself out of a score of 1 to 5. How are you generating leads weekly? How would you score yourself? Are you doing a good job of that? Do you have a predictable pipeline in place? Are you filling up those cruise schedules and keeping your guys busy? What does that look like? And not just now, because here's the thing, we're all in busy season. And I know a lot of you guys are out there thinking, oh yeah, I'm busy. I'm weeks out. What is it like during slow season though? Do you have a plan for that? Because what you put in place right now is going to predict how well you do in the slower season when things really slow down and you're looking to keep those crews busy. Okay. So how would you score yourself on that? Honestly. Okay. Are you pre-qualifying leads that come in? When you think of that flywheel, do you have a good pre-qualification system? Because 87% people are looking at Google and they're pre-qualified based upon what they see on there, how many reviews, if they can actually even find you, because maybe you don't have a Google business profile. And then also if you're organically ranking, but as they go down there, are they looking at your website, looking at that gallery? Do you have pictures from 20 years ago that you haven't updated on your gallery? Do you have videos? Are you really working on that? That's such an important part of your business. Do you have some good pre-qualification questions in that form? And if they call, do you have some good pre-qualification questions when they call? So what about following up consistently? It's not enough to just get a lead and then wait. You got to follow up with it right away. And then you have to keep on following up with it. You can't just follow up with it once, call it once and be done. No, you got to call leads multiple times because people are busy, as you guys know. Sometimes it's hard to get a hold of you guys on the phone because you're driving in the truck, and that's usually the only time we can have a nice conversation because you're on your way to get stuff done. Well, your customers are busy too. And so following up with them is really important to get that time where they have a few moments to just answer the phone, and then they can talk to you about getting the job done. If you're not, your competitors are, and then they're going to get that job. And that could lose you thousands and thousands of dollars of profit. All right. Are you closing jobs predictably? Do you even know what your close rates are? Score yourself on that. So if you're not sure what your close rates are, maybe I'd stick that at like a 3. And what I mean by that is not just throwing something at the wall and saying, I think that's my close rate. No. What's your actual close rate over the last 12 months? You should have a scorecard where you're tracking every single month what your lead rate to estimate to close rates are. If you don't know that, you got to put that in place so you have a good understanding of what your average close rate is across the board and how that fluctuates up and down during the year. Okay. So how would you score yourself? How about, are you asking for reviews and referrals? Right. I think we could all do better on this. You know, this is one that I think we feel great when the job's done and we're ready to move on to the next one, but maybe we could all do better here. Right. So how do you score on this? Do you have a nice review campaign in place? You're qualifying them, you're getting that feedback. Do you have a follow-up process in place for those reviews and also the referrals? Do you have a compensation system in place? Maybe it's a reward somehow for a referral that is given to you. Are you following up automatically with your past clients and asking them for referrals? Are you, when you're doing the job, canvassing the neighborhood, asking a homeowner you're working for what neighbors might be interested in work? Because they're going to be able to give you guys a lot of info on that. So anyway, so how would you score yourself on a scale of 1 to 5 on these different things? And I'd be curious what your score is. Let me know. All right, so here's some quick wins that you can do. We talked about a little bit. Add a lead form to your homepage and those pre-qualifying questions. Start a Google review campaign. Take out your phone, get that link from your Google business profile, start asking past clients for reviews. That's a really quick win for you. Post your top 3 frequently asked questions as a video on your Google business profile, on your website, on YouTube. Those are great ways for people to interact with you. You can do that on your Instagram, of course, too, and Facebook. Use call tracking. You can't really run a marketing campaign without tracking. So you got to make sure you use form and call tracking in place so you know how many have been coming through and you're tracking that appropriately. All right, guys, if you do want some help building this out, I just want to mention that we can help you out. You can go look at our case studies and see some of the stuff we've done to help other hardscapers. But really, my goal here is just to help you guys and provide you value. So give me a thumbs up if that's what you've gotten out of this video. And let me know what you scored also in the comments. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. Have a good one, and we'll talk to you later.